Well, good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Topic our news at 5, tariff concerns are impacting the economy in many ways, and tonight we take a look at how the housing market is reacting. Despite international tariffs impacting wallets, local lenders in Spokane say they feel optimistic. Regan Gallo spoke with a local real estate expert to see if local listings are worth the buy.
Even with the constant fluctuation in the stock market in response to tariffs coming from the White House, here in Spokane, local lenders say they are optimistic still for both buyers and sellers.
Sabrina Jones-Schroeder from Exit Realty says she always anticipates and prepares for change in the market. Mortgage rates have recently declined, with local lenders quoting 30-year rates between 6.5% and 6.8%.
It's really a great market for both buyers and sellers, where more inventory, decent rates for buyers, but there's still not so much inventory that it's moved into that buyer's market where sellers are taking a hit or prices are going down.
But she encourages buyers to not wait up.
If I were a buyer, I wouldn't look at this slight little downtick in interest rates as an indicator that, oh, great, we're finally going to start heading back into the fives or the fours. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen.
On the construction side of the housing market, the Spokane Home Builders Association say they are battling tariff impacts on supplies. They say about 30% of lumber and appliances are imported, and about 85% of softwood lumber is from Canada.
Hard cost increase about 10 points higher than inflation over the since COVID. Right, so it's like 26%, I think, is inflation since COVID. I think we're about 37% for hard costs for building.
Payne explains the impact on home construction is exacerbated by tariffs.
For every $1,000 in home costs, we estimate that 114 families are priced out of being able to purchase a home. So any increase certainly impacts the ability for our friends and neighbors to get into home ownership.
As they are dealing with the increase in prices, Payne explains they do support more domestic production. But for right now, both sellers and buyers have a lot to think about.
Schroeder says the consistently changing news coming from the White House is encouraging sellers to get their houses on the market faster before any new news comes from Washington. I'm reporting right here in Spokane, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
All right, our other top story tonight, the forecast. Plenty of sunshine again today, but also some gusty conditions. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo is in the Outdoor Weather Center with more on what we need to know. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, all this wind is actually doing something, and that something is dropping our temperatures ever so slightly. Still sit on the warm side of things. 55 degrees puts us within a couple of the average, but what I want to point out is our dew point. A dew point of 8 degrees, I forgot to check that a little bit earlier. That means all of our incoming showers likely aren't going to happen here in Spokane. We would have to get the atmosphere pretty saturated to squeeze anything out. So let's talk this. Winds at 45 miles per hour have prompted wind advisories for the Okanagan Valley. Those will remain in effect through 8 p.m. as our storm slides its way to the south. We've already recorded a 47 mile per hour wind gust in Omak, and wind is just going to keep blowing. Notice everything drying out as it moves in. We still are going to eke out a couple of raindrops. That's how this works. A couple of raindrops is not out of the question. That's just what we're going to get out of this. But when you wind up seeing a very dry atmosphere and an impressive band of showers moving in, they just fall apart as they do. As soon as it enters that dry atmosphere, we'll just eat it, especially as that comes down out of the mountains. So a couple of raindrops winds up being it. Tomorrow, back to the sunny conditions, and as we get closer to the weekend, there is a potential for another round of showers on Saturday, but very akin to what we saw today. We just don't quite have all the ingredients to squeeze moisture out of the atmosphere at a manner at which the forecast models suggest. 59 degrees tomorrow, 65 on Friday, and then mostly cloudy on Saturday.
Back in with you later in the broadcast. Well, tonight there are new traffic safety changes in Spokane with the goal of protecting drivers and pedestrians. KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy highlights some of those changes already made and ones coming to a street near you. Shannon?
It has been nearly a year since Janet Mann was hit and killed by a driver turning at a red light here at the intersection of Brown and Main. And just down the street from here, city leaders unveiled new traffic safety measures aimed at curbing these traffic deaths.
3, 2, 1.
It's a simple change that Spokane leadership says is a sign of their dedication to saving lives.
We're on Main right now, and just a few blocks away from us is where tragically Janet Mann was killed by a turn on red.
Mann's death in June led to several pedestrian safety initiatives. The newest unveiled Wednesday, a rule that could roll out across downtown. For now, though, on Main and Post, you can no longer turn on a red light. A welcome signal of progress for Eric Lowe, who first noticed Spokane's street safety issues as a new dad.
Or bought a bike trailer when he was a toddler, and we quickly realized how dangerous our streets were.
He founded Spokane Reimagined, envisioning safer roads and more public transport options. He's happy with the no turn on red, but thinks the city can go further to curb traffic deaths through infrastructure changes like squeezing down Spokane's wide roads.
It gives them the feeling of being on a highway.
Speeding and other factors that have led to rising traffic deaths since the pandemic. Data he's been analyzing and mapping.
It's really difficult to sit down and go through that because you see a lot of scary information when you lay it all out.
Mayor Lisa Brown says last year Spokane saw a record 20 traffic fatalities. In the first month of 2025, 6 people have died, including 2 who were walking.
We don't want to meet or exceed last year's record. That's unacceptable.
Spokane will also install more traffic cameras and staff 4 traffic officers by next month.
I'll announce here today that we are reinstituting a traffic safety and education unit. You will see motor officers out there. Their full-time job is to be out there and enforce traffic law.
3 more officers will focus on DUI enforcement and stop by bars to prevent drunk driving. The city is also looking beyond prevention. Soon they will staff up a traffic fatality work group to review these deadly collisions and recommend changes based on the data that they find. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Thank you very much. We have a lot more stories coming up at 5 o'clock tonight, including an eastern Washington city growing and in need of more water. KREM 2's Christian Garza went to Othello today to find out more about how they're planning for the future. Also, the Real ID deadline for TSA checkpoints fast approaching at 5:15 tonight. How Eastern Washington residents are doing in getting their Real IDs.